This video will discuss using the New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians, 2nd edition, first published in 2001. Although it is called a dictionary, the New Grove is actually a 29-volume print encyclopedia covering almost every topic imaginable that concerns music. It is without a doubt the single most important source of credible, authoritative information on music in the English language. DU's music library has 2 copies of the New Grove. One is on permanent reserve behind the service desk, and the other is located in the reference area. The predecessor to the 2nd edition of the New Grove is the 1st edition, published in 1980. The 2nd edition is greatly expanded over the 1st edition, especially in coverage of 20th century composers, and in areas outside the canon of Western art music such as folk traditions, popular musics, and ethnomusicology. Both editions inherit a tradition of musical scholarship that goes back to the 1st edition of Grove's Dictionary of Music and Musicians, published in 1879 by Sir George Grove. The original Grove's Dictionary went through 5 editions between 1879 and 1954. Which scholars often refer to in shorthand as Grove 1, Grove 2, Grove 3, Grove 4, and Grove 5. This nomenclature was extended to the 1st edition of the New Grove, which is called Grove 6, and the 2nd edition, which is called Grove 7. Articles in the New Grove are arranged alphabetically by title, so it is a simple matter to look up a topic alphabetically. And indeed, this is the way readers most often use the dictionary. However, it is not the only way to find information in the New Grove. Volume 29 is an index to the entire work and shows the different articles in different volumes that may mention a topic. In addition to the traditional print format, the New Grove is also available through the subscription database Oxford Music Online. You can access Oxford Music Online through the DU Library website, library.du.edu. Under Databases, type Oxford Music Online and press Return. Click on Oxford Music Online, then authenticate with your 87 number and passcode. Oxford Music Online brings together content from a number of sources. In addition to the New Grove, which here belongs to a subset called Grove Music Online, it includes the Grove Dictionary of American Music, the Encyclopedia of Popular Music, the Oxford Dictionary of Music, the Oxford Companion to Music, the New Grove Dictionary of Opera, the Grove Dictionary of Musical Instruments, and the New Grove Dictionary of Jazz. The authority of the New Grove is such that Oxford Music Online provides a special checkbox that allows you to search only that work. The keyword search box provides quick access to relevant material. Most articles in the New Grove are signed by one or more individual authors. In fact, a handy way to see who is a prominent authority on a particular musical topic is to look that topic up in the New Grove and see who has written the article. Longer articles are divided into sections, which may be by different authors. Many of the individual articles in the New Grove are extensive essays, so long and comprehensive that they have been collected and published separately as books in their own right. Longer articles will typically have a short introduction followed by an outline of the different sections, so you can go straight to the part that interests you. If you access a longer article online, the sections of the article will be hyperlinked in the left sidebar, allowing you to click and go directly to the section you want. In the online version, authors of individual sections will be listed after the section they are responsible for, while in the print version, all the authors are listed together at the end. Illustrations in the online articles can be expanded by clicking on them, allowing you to view them in greater detail. One of the most useful parts of a New Grove article is the bibliography section at the end, which should always be your jumping off point for further research into a topic. These lists of sources are carefully researched and compiled, sometimes by a scholar commissioned for that task alone, and often broken down into sections. They use a special format full of abbreviations to save space, so if you're not sure how to track down these references, please ask for help from the library staff. The article linker buttons in New Grove bibliographies accessed online are often not as helpful as they are in other research databases. Unlike most bibliographies, each section of a bibliography in the New Grove is ordered chronologically from oldest to newest. If you access a New Grove article online, the bibliography may be more current than the print version published in 2001, though not always. A special bibliographic feature of composer biographies in the New Grove is the works list at the end. We will examine these in greater detail in another tutorial. Here we will just say that the works list is an excellent resource for basic information about a composer's works, including information like key, instrumentation, opus numbers, catalog numbers like BWV or Kerschel numbers, dates of composition, and where to locate a particular piece in standard, critical, collected editions. That is a lot of information the New Grove has to offer, but we're not done yet. There are a few more features and resources you should know about. The first volume contains a preface to the entire edition, describing the editorial approach and ways in which the second edition is expanded over the first. It also reprints the preface to the 1980 first edition of the New Grove, describing how the New Grove was reconceived as an entirely original work, rather than a revision of the previous edition of Grove's Dictionary. It is important to understand that the New Grove is not cumulative with regard to earlier editions of Grove's. That is to say that although each edition is longer than the last, there is some information in earlier editions that is not included in later editions. For instance, if you want to know about the 20th century collector Paul Hirsch, the article in Grove 5 is more detailed than the article in Grove 7. The first volume also reprints Sir George Grove's preface to the original 1897 edition of Grove's Dictionary, in case you're interested in knowing how the whole thing got started. It also includes an introduction and a note from the publisher explaining some technical details of how the project was carried out. Each volume of the New Grove contains a guide to using the dictionary and several tables of abbreviations: general abbreviations, bibliographical abbreviations, discographical abbreviations, and special abbreviations called library sigla, which refer to particular music libraries around the world. These abbreviations are used extensively throughout the New Grove, and especially in the bibliographies and composer works lists. So knowing how to look them up is important. Remember that a library siglum has two parts. The first part signifies the country where the library is located, and the second part specifies the library itself. So when you look up a library siglum, you need to start by finding the right country. Volume 28 of the New Grove is made up of appendices. These are extensive lists of research resources. They include private collections of music, literature, and instruments, Congress reports, which refers to the published proceedings of academic conferences where scholars gather and present research papers to one another, dictionaries and encyclopedias of music, where you can find listed all of the other significant reference titles in the field, both general and specialized, historical editions, a comprehensive bibliography of scholarly collections of scores, a listing of music libraries around the world, periodicals, a list of every significant journal and magazine in music, and sound archives, a listing of collections of recordings, an important resource for the study of non-notated traditions such as jazz, popular, and non-Western musics. The online version of the New Grove has a few noteworthy features not found in the print version. We've already noted the keyword search box, which is a little like searching the index of the print version. Clicking on Biographies allows you to go straight to a particular biographical article, or search all biographical articles for a key term. Likewise, clicking on Subject Entries allows you to browse directly to a particular subject entry, or search all subject entries for a key term. Under Tools and Resources, you can find links to most of the appendices and tables of abbreviations that are found in the print version. You can also find useful timelines, indexes, subject guides, interviews, and special articles such as an essay on the history of Grove's dictionary, or the history of spoof articles in Grove. The New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians is a go-to resource on almost any musical topic. It is the first place to begin your research, and in many cases will tell you all you need to know.